We are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives.
Oh.
And once again, I got the bum AJ up in the casa, but it is after a Spurs loss, a tough loss versus the Knicks on this Sunday afternoon. A lot to dislike about how we played this afternoon. Just not a ton of good effort. There
Mhm.
was a lot of defensive rotations to be desired,
Oof.
but overall, when you're looking at the game tonight, or when you're looking at the game this afternoon, what were you seeing out there, AJ?
What I've been seeing, and Rob, this has kind of been a trend since we've gone on this little East Coast road trip. I've seen a lot of physical play, and we haven't been able to hit them back. I think that's the next piece in our team that we're missing is someone just not necessarily to start a fight. I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying like we just need someone to go in there and when they're hacking us and Wimby's getting hit, we just got to hit someone back. Whether that's getting a great dunk or just even pushing someone to the ground or whatever the case may be, because it happened against the Raptors, happened a little bit against the Nets, and then today with the Knicks, we try to hit back and we try to finesse our hits, but I think we just need just a bruiser, and that's when a Keldon Johnson comes into play, like we were talking last time. However, he just didn't have a great game today, and no one really had a great game today. It was ugly to watch, careless turnovers. Wimby had what 7 turnovers himself,
Seven,
and
yeah.
and most of them were just poor. I mean, just poor. I mean, the inbounds one at the end of the third quarter, you're like, that's just a mental error. So that I think this was a very disappointing game, but I went ahead and looked at the last game we played against the Knicks on the 31st, and I went, oh, the 31st game when Julian Champagny had 11 3-pointers. Okay, so to beat the Knicks, when we're finding out, we're going to need everyone to step up. We need everyone to step up. We need everyone to show up. We see them in the finals. Everyone has to play well. What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of what you were just talking about, a lot of effort. Anytime that you lose the rebounding battle, the points in the paint battle, you get beat from three, that you have more turnovers and you concede more points from turnovers than your opponent. That's just a recipe for just a
Yep.
complete disaster of a basketball game. And that was apparent pretty early on. You saw us get that early lead, and it was a 12-point lead in the beginning mid first quarter, and it was like,
Yep.
okay, this is actually a promising start. It looks like we took those 2 days off and we got some good rest and we came out with a good sense of urgency. And then immediately every thought that I had about that was just removed with how the Knicks responded at the end of the first, and then
Yeah.
at the start of the second. So, yeah, just I don't want to just say that we completely shit the bed, because the Knicks also simultaneously played really well and played very physical with us, forced a lot of those turnovers,
Yeah.
and then it was Mikal Bridges hitting a lot of really good corner threes,
And he's
getting
done
a
that
lot
to
of
us before.
yes, and it seems like when they get space from his corner threes, it opens up so much easiness, and you were seeing Jalen Brunson easy drives, even Landry Shamet was getting to the basket at times, and you open yourself up to get dominated on the glass like Karl Anthony Towns did to us tonight. So there was just a lot of effort things that I'm
Mhm.
questioning when you see a performance like this. And I'm so glad you brought up the Wemby turnovers, because so many of them were silly and
Just
lazy. And
lazy. You lose your mental awareness, your mental effort. They're just between the ears, honestly. Like just that third quarter one just really bothered me for whatever reason. Just because it was a moment in the game when we could have actually done something and maybe cut it to a single digits and maybe hit like a last second shot, but instead we turned it over. Thank God they missed their shot that almost went in. Otherwise we would have been over a lot sooner. But man, we had a lot of just really tough situations today.
yeah, ultimately, yeah, there's a lot to dislike about the game. but I think that it's the majority of it's majority on us. Like
Yeah.
we need to come out with a stronger sense of urgency. Didn't shoot well from three, didn't get the ball in the paint nearly enough. And when you look at how we were winning games in February, we went away from all that. And sure, it was a pretty decent bounce back game from Wemby offensively, and he got his good blocks, but the turnovers were a huge issue. We shot too many threes as a team. I would love to just move away from the 3-point line when we realize, hey, it's not working for us. We actually need to be shooting more and more free throws if we're going to hang with this team.
The only thing with that is we weren't getting the calls. Like we weren't getting any calls. Like uh, Wimby was getting hacked, Castle was getting hacked, Fox was getting hacked. They're all getting just abused down low, and the refs are swallowing whistles. So in that instance, you either have to, like I said earlier, fight back, or Mitch Johnson needs to get a technical. He needs to get in the ref's ass and just be like, call the fucking foul. Like you got to call that. You can't tell me that that's not a foul. Like how many times I can't even count how many times I'm like, how is that? How are they not calling that a foul? And then you come back on the other end and we barely touch Cat and they call a foul right then and there. So it's just like, dude, like you got to call it the same way. And we're in it's March 1st. It's not playoff basketball yet. If you're driving to the basket and you're getting hit on the forearm, that is a foul. Like you're getting hacked, and they just didn't call it. So as much as I want us to go to the free throw line, I don't know if we were going to get those calls today.
Well, I mean, as much as I do want to complain about the fouls, we got more foul calls than
We
they
did. We
did.
did get to the free throw line more.
And yeah, and we shot more free throws than they did. So it like I don't want to fully complain about it, but at the same time, it did feel like we should have had even more calls than they did, and maybe even proportionally even more so. But I just got to get to a couple of these comments.
Sure.
A bruiser like Jeremy Sohan, no,
No, not Jeremy Sohan.
we want a guy that can step in, actually be a good enforcer and take on that role seriously. Um, Jeremy Sohan tonight was non-existent. He was on the bench, just kind of chilling, doing
Him
his
and Tracy
thing.
Morgan had the same amount of points tonight.
Right. And I don't want to make this about Sohan, but the reason why he didn't fit in is because he couldn't fit into that kind of enforcer role. And it seems like he's not going to fit into the Knicks rotation because guys like Diawara are really playing him out of the rotation, shooting well, defending when he needs to. And so
Bigger.
yeah, and if that continues to happen, then I don't see him really
How do
thriving
we get
in
him on
New
our
York
team,
either.
Rob? How do we get a guy like Diawara? Is that his name?
Diawara, yeah.
I know Boris Diaw with a couple extra letters. What we need is we need someone like that. I want someone who is long, that can shoot, that can defend, but not on a huge contract. Come in and make a difference like he did tonight. I mean, how many points did he have tonight? Like I know he had at least 3 threes, right? He had
Yeah, I
14
mean,
points tonight off the bench.
yep. Yeah, he had a couple of really good defensive plays, good takes to the basket, a couple of good key, like just possession ending rebounds that I was like, dude,
Couple
that
blocks.
that's what you want from a good role player stepping in there. And so as much as I want to say it was our guys not stepping up, it was the Knicks role players as well, kind of stepping up when they needed to. And uh, you know, that's been a lot of our guys over the last
Yeah,
month. So I don't want to just scratch
100%.
I don't just want to scratch our heads and be like, what are we doing wrong over here? It's like, no, this is an off game for us. Generally,
Yep.
we're shooting better. And I also do want to say that even aside from the turnovers, a decent bounce back game from Wemby.
Yeah, what the Knicks did is what we've been doing to teams for the entire month of February. All of the starters scored in double digits, led by two guys, Jalen Brunson 24, Mikal Bridges 25. You have a guy like Cat that is still an absolute menace on our on against our team. But one thing that I noticed is that first quarter, once we took Steph Castle out, Dylan Harper looked like a rookie. He definitely looked like a rookie. He had his moments when you're like, "Oof, that was not a great read by him, or slow footed on a rotation." And but that 3-point closeout call, man, we got to figure out this closeout rule because it's getting ridiculous. Like we're calling a flagrant one on something like that. I don't know how you can possibly do that. I'm confused on this closeout rule because every time I look up, someone's getting a flagrant one that they shouldn't have gotten. So I think the NBA needs to take a look at that here in the offseason and just tweak it. Like I think people do get fouled on those shots, but you can't have Dylan Harper get a flagrant one on just landing an inch in front of Jalen Brunson. That doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. And there was confusion all from the commentator booth and even Steve Javi, who they talked to there. He was like, yeah, I was confused on that because he made the closeout before the shot attempt even happened. And then their natural momentum brought them forward just a little bit and their feet connected from the side. And so
Yeah.
it
Well,
wasn't like he got his
yeah,
foot underneath.
he turned his hips so he wouldn't do that. So
Right, exactly. So, like,
yeah,
their feet touched on the side. It wasn't like he got underneath him, and that to me is the epitome of how you avoid that contact,
right.
and yeah, and I don't know how you come to that flagrant foul conclusion. I'm in full agreement with you.
Yeah, we just what happened was in that first half, we just dug ourselves a hole and we couldn't get out of it because offensively we just couldn't click. And you know, I don't know which we weren't getting bad looks, but they were closing out everything. They were playing hard. I mean, Josh Hart, man, that son of a bitch. Like that dude plays nonstop every single play. He got a bunch of offensive rebounds. I mean, I'm looking right now. He got 3 offensive rebounds, and I can remember at least all 3 of them where he extended the play, got an extra possession, either got a foul too on top of all that. So just this is a physical team, man. And we struggle with physical teams. The entire playoffs is going to be physical. So I need Mitch Johnson to figure it out.
Yeah, I think largely, I mean, we proved, when we played against, Detroit, I think that we proved that we can go up against some of the more physical teams in the NBA and come out on top. So like I don't want to just say that this is an
But
indication of things to come, but the Knicks do play a physical brand of basketball that's a little bit different where they have physical wings as well as physical bigs. So it's
yeah, but with unlike Detroit, the Knicks can score the hoop. They can score the ball. Like the Pistons, they have Cade Cunningham and then some guys that might get you going. The Knicks are just really consistent. Cat can get going. Jalen Brunson can get going. Obviously, Mikal Bridges can get going. So, like, I think offensively, like you when you go against a team that's physical and they have an offense like the Knicks, like it's going to be tough for us to beat that team. And you know, I'm glad that we don't have to see these top Eastern teams very much. Like we're done with the Knicks, thank God. If we see them again in the finals, great. But if not, then I'm just glad we only play them a couple of times a year because we just do not match up well with them.
Yeah, we don't match up well, and we seem to consistently have bad defensive effort nights when we're against them, and that's not like a, "Oh, the shots aren't falling" kind of thing. The rotations are slow kind of
Slow
thing, and
bad. It's so
and
bad.
that's and that's
What?
not and that feels like almost solely an energy rotation, like, get your
Yeah.
head in the game kind of thing.
What are we doing on defense? Like it felt like one thing that I noticed, I'm sure you noticed too, we were falling for every pump fake. Anytime Jalen Brunson went for like a little ball fake, we were jumping out of the gym to try to block that shot, and we just went flying. And he would either get an open shot, pass the ball to someone else to get a better shot. But a lot of the rotations, like it seemed like we wanted to close out, but we didn't, and that gave them just a shit ton of open looks that they made.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jalen Brunson is one of the best foul baiters in the league. So he just has these little micro movements that get you off balance. And then all of a sudden you're jumping at a shot you had no intention of jumping for. And then when you do that a couple of times and he hits a couple of those floaters, collapses the defense enough, that's gonna leave Mikal Bridges open enough. And then all of a sudden it's boom, boom, boom. And then that
Yep.
offense is
Or
clicking and Cat doesn't really need to do
right.
anything and can have a quiet night, and then
Yeah.
still offensively, they overwhelm us.
Yeah, and then with Jalen Brunson, like if he starts to hit those floaters, then you start to drop down as you're in that pick and roll. He comes off that screen with one step on your guard, and he's making that 3-pointer, which he did a couple of times. So, this is a great Knicks team. Like they're really good for a reason. They're pretty much unbeatable at home. We lost to them in the NBA Cup and we beat them at the turn of the year because Julian Champagny had 11 3-pointers. So if we're going to beat this kind of Knicks team, like I said earlier, we're going to need some heroic offense. And I mean, De'Aaron Fox, buddy, I know we haven't needed you lately, but man, I can't have you have 7 points in a game like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And yeah, that's why I think,
3 for 10, 1 for 6.
yeah, that's why I'm highlighting this comment right over here. Fox was MIA. And if we're paying you 50 plus $1 million, you can't go MIA. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that every single night you need to be scoring, tons and tons of points and spearheading the flow of the offense. But I think that more often than night, we need to be able to lean on you offensively to make things happen. And I would say at least half of this season, we've looked elsewhere to close games,
Yeah.
and it really hasn't felt like he's provided us that clutch player of the year type of atmosphere that we were wanting. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been good, because he's been good,
Yeah.
but I just don't think that he's been necessarily, hey, we're paying you $50 million a season, kind of, you're getting max money kind of good.
He's not playing like the Robin that we need him to play. If Wimby's Batman, we need him to play like Robin, if not better. Maybe more like Superman. That'd be cool. Batman, Superman kind of thing. Because that's the kind of guy that I thought we were going to get with De'Aaron Fox. These are the type of games where I expect him to just not really. I wouldn't say take over. Take over would have been a lot tonight, but just have a more of an impact offensively. Like whenever we were in that struggling part of the first quarter, like him hitting a 3-pointer, him getting to the basket, or him making a few free throws, like that kind of thing that can really kind of get him going. We just couldn't do it. And it's frustrating to watch. I mean, Devin Vassell, he tried his damnedest. Steph Castle tried, but man, Steph Castle was all over the court. And so offensively, I don't really want Steph Castle. I just want him to lock down Brunson in those types of games. Like that's when you have to pivot and just figure out where your offense is coming from, because it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, and to your point, that's when Brunson was struggling in the first quarter, is when Steph was really swarming him and guarding him, and then we took him out, Harper came in, and then that's when Brunson started to go on that
He hit those 3 free
rampage.
throws, and even the
Yeah,
announcers were like, "This might get him going," and sure as shit, it did.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough seeing a guy like Jalen Brunson get going like that, because honestly, offense is all he has going for him, and so much of what I wanted to just what I wanted to do tonight was attack him, because we
Yeah,
have just big, physical, strong, quick guards, and that's the nightmare for Jalen Brunson defensively. So I was like, we could have gotten him in foul trouble really early on, and prevented a lot of what we saw from him late first quarter, early second quarter, but it wasn't quite that way. Instead, we have one of the worst first halves. In fact, it was the
it was the
worst
worst
first
first
half.
half. Yeah,
It was the worst first half Spurs have had all season long, 41 points. And
God,
yes, only 77 shots all game long is just minimizing your possessions in a way that, I mean, I didn't look up the numbers specifically, but this might be the fewest amount of shots we've taken in a game all season long.
it's very possible. It looked like it. We're getting a lot of one and dones out there, and when you're going against a Knicks team that's scrappy and getting rebounds and all that stuff, like you need to get those little scrappy offensive rebounds like you were back in college. We just didn't do that. And the I think the interesting part of this whole thing is Wimby played 34 minutes too. Like it wasn't like we were trying to not win this game. Like we were trying really hard to win this game. And I think Mitch Johnson was trying to maybe put a feeler out there and be like, all right, if Wimby's going to be that guy, or if we're going to try to rely on somebody, let's see what this looks like. But I do feel if we were to play the Knicks in the championship or in the finals, I personally like our chances, just because I don't think I trust Mike Brown enough to win a championship by himself without LeBron James. And I think in a very competitive East for the Knicks, the way that they play, by the time they get to the finals, they might be pretty banged up.
Oh yeah, I think in any kind of playoff setting where you need to win 4 games against the other team. I definitely trust us more. I think our rotations are better, and we have a wider variety of ways we can win games. We can win games by by feeding lobs to Wemby. I combined lob and Wemby. Lobby. We can get lobs to Wemby and really dominate points in the paint and just be aggressive in that way, or we can really space the floor with Champagny and DV and just make sure that we have so much room for our offense to breathe. And both of those ways are very, very offensively potent. So I think that we have a lot of chess pieces that we can move around to make the Knicks struggle a little bit in the postseason outlook. But I also feel like there's no way that series goes less than 6 games because
Yeah,
they're just tough. Like they're
they're
they're they're
tough.
they're going to beat us a couple times.
Yeah, for sure, especially in New York. Like if the is Madison Square Garden's rocking in the finals on a Sunday noon game just like today, and we got Tracy Morgan sitting next to Ben Stiller and Whoopi Goldberg's out there too. Like it's going to be tough to beat. I mean, so many times I was like, I wonder what Fat Joe's thinking right now during that game. I was like, what's happening right now? Like he looks good. First of all, I'm like, I'm so glad you're not Fat Joe anymore. You're just kind of like Fluffy Joe, I guess. But dude.
He looks like he's Joe Zempic now.
But yeah, that the turnover thing is crazy, and the offensive rebounds too. The Knicks had 18 offensive rebounds to our 10, and I mean that's just straight hustle. That's just hustle, and Josh
Yeah.
Hart is a big part of that. So until we can find, I mean, Keldon Johnson's kind of like our Josh Hart, but whenever he disappears, it's very apparent. This was a weird game for us, honestly. This was a really weird game. I don't know how to really dissect it too much, other than we played bad. But all of our starters played 30 minutes. We had a very short rotation. Luke Cornett looked like shit. I mean, it was just a lot of weird things that we haven't seen from a very disciplined team. So I think this is the game that you kind of put on the shelf. You may talk about it for a little bit, but then you put it on the shelf until the playoffs and bring it out and go, if we play like this here in the next few weeks, we're going to be going home early, and we're not going to do that. And I think you just kind of put this to the side for now and then bring it back up later. We got Philly next, and we got to beat Philly.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point. It's hard to sit down and dissect this game when you look at everything that we did wrong and how uncharacteristic it's been. You really can't point to this game and be like, "Oh wow, we've been getting dominated on the rebounding battle
Yeah,
all year long," because that hasn't really been the truth.
right.
I would say that I wish that we moved away from the 3-point shot a
Yeah,
little bit earlier than we did at times, and kind of wish we moved to that play where we ran it a couple times beautifully, where it was Fox down screening for Wemby curling over,
yeah,
essentially curling over the elbow, and then it was a downward action, little throw to Wemby, and then both of those plays ended up with a Wemby dunk, and I'm
yeah,
like, hey, can we run that a few more times? And so
right.
I wanted to see just more actions where we were getting the ball to Wemby downhill, just because Wemby dunk is the easiest play in our offense, hands down. And when the
Yeah,
three ball's not falling, we're shooting 26% from beyond
yep.
the arc. That makes sense to get to.
Yeah, and also just it would make our offense not look as clunky. I mean, it looked real clunky today. A lot of weird passes, ball. They would get in their hands on balls, and we would try to dive for it. And now we're scrambling, trying to pass out of on the ground, and it was a lot of it just very clunky is what the best way I can describe it. And I think moving forward, I don't think we're going to have another. We might have similar games, but I will say that we talked about it. What's gonna be our Achilles heel? It's poor shooting. And today, that's literally what happened. Poor shooting happened, and we don't win games when we score 89 points and we're playing the Knicks. So we kind of been talking about it. We're hoping that it wouldn't rear its ugly head, but here we are on a Sunday afternoon, and we're talking about 89 points in 2026.
Yeah, terrible. And yeah, that happens because there's stretches of the game where the Knicks are just belt to assing us, and and they're doing it with 26-2 runs over the stretch of like a quarter, like a half a quarter. And that kind of stretch just can't happen if you're expecting to work your way back in the game against
Yep.
a team that's as tough on both ends as the Knicks. Even though I
I think
think
the
we're a
Knicks
better
make it to
team,
the I think they make it to the finals. I really do.
I think they possibly could. I think that I'm putting them in that second tier of contenders in the East. Even though I do like them, I still feel like I have to put other teams above them. I do view them on that same team or that same tier as Detroit, but I also think I view Boston and Cleveland as just as potent teams, if not slightly better. And
I
and
need to
when
see.
Cleveland
Go ahead. Sorry.
when Cleveland gets James Harden back, I do think that they will end up being even better.
I was just going to say I need to see James Harden with Cleveland for at least 2 weeks. I need to see what that looks like. Hopefully, he gets accumulated to the strip clubs in Cleveland. Heard they're fantastic. If they're not, then it is what it is. Oh yeah, speaking of strip clubs, did you see what the Atlanta Hawks are doing?
Oh my goodness, no, I didn't.
Magic City Monday.
That's nuts.
So I guess San Antonio is going to start doing perfect 10 Thursdays,
No,
sugar
dude,
Saturdays.
it's just gonna be men's club Mondays. Oh my god, terrible. Oh
But
my, that's
I'm curious to see kind of where the Knicks go. I think they have a great team. If they're going to get the bench contribution that they did tonight, they're going to be a really hard out. And I mean, Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges are just great compliments to what Jalen Brunson's doing, and we have a very similar team to them in terms of you have guards that can guard, that can get up and down, that can shoot, things of that nature. It's just they have those extra years and those skins on the wall that we're looking to get at some point. And so once we get there, we'll be fine. But we just got to remember, like a lot of these guys, they're still young. They're going to make dumb mistakes. This is just a regular season game. We don't need to blow it out of proportion. We get Philly again here in the next couple of days. But I do think that this rodeo road trip is starting to become a little bit, I guess, have a toll on this team. Even though we got a couple of games in Austin, I do think this rodeo road trip is starting to take a toll on this team.
yeah. I think you are right. Even those couple of days off just didn't quite seem like enough when you're away from home. It's still hard to relax.
Yeah, does
Uh,
Wemby even have like a bed that can hold him? Like, do they have
I
to get like two beds, like and put them against each other?
I
I like
think I think that he can find a bed.
because
Shout
obviously
out
when you're at
to
home, it's your custom bed and you can do whatever you want there. But if you're on the road and you're staying at, I mean, obviously they're staying at nice hotels, but it's not like the people that are staying at nice hotels are 7'5".
right, but he just stays at the Wemby rated hotels that have California Kong beds
Be so funny if he was like, "Yeah, I don't even sleep horizontal. I sleep standing up." You're like, "What?"
in a vampire coffin. Just
He's like, "It's really good for my veins."
right. I do have to dive in just to a couple of these comments. Yes, I do agree. This makes the Knicks a very tough matchup because OG can shoot from deep. Yes, they are very difficult because a lot of their wings do space the floor very well while simultaneously playing the passing lanes very well, like Mikal Bridges did tonight with 5 steals. A
Yep,
couple of times he was just a
dude.
really huge nuisance and just created a lot of easy transition offense for them.
The one that he had, I think I think his last one he had, where we were trying to get Devin on a wing shot, and yeah, he just pulled it out like Odell Beckham, just two
Mhm.
hands, feet in, went the other way, and it's like, geez, like he was baiting our guys to get those steals, and I mean, just and then again, but again, as a guard, you have to see those things. You have to know kind of what Mikal Bridges is going to do and what he's going to try to do. And especially in those situations, we just had a lot of lazy passes. Like another one that I don't know if he got the steal for it or not, but Wimby was trying to come off from the baseline and we threw it in too early before he was able to clear out and turnover. So like just if you would have like a lot of these things, if you would have waited just another half a beat, we would have not had as many turnovers. And maybe we're talking to this about this game a little differently.
Well, and a lot of our young guards, I think they need to learn the art of the pass fake.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just gonna be boom, boom, and then that natural pause that you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's where that's gonna happen, and you're not gonna have those turnovers, and you're gonna throw the defense off a little bit. So I think
Yeah.
I think, those are things that, just come with a little bit of time, but ultimately, we don't get 22 we're not turning the ball over 22 times every night. So
No.
this is a rare occurrence for us. But I do want to dive into this comment real quick because I've thought this multiple times, but ultimately I can't allow this strain of thought necessarily because I think we always did draft the right guy. Um, you think the Spurs should have traded down, drafted Khan because we need shooters around Wemby. I understand where that thinking comes from because I would love Khan on this team because of course we need more shooting, but long term Harper is the guy that we're going to be running the offense through because truth be told, is Fox going to be here for the rest of his career? I'm not 100% sure, but I can guarantee that Dylan Harper is the guy that is going to be the 15 plus year guy that we want to build around. And I think he's got the higher ceiling than Khan, even though Khan is having the most efficient 3-point shooting season any rookie's ever had. And of course, that would look nice right next to Wemby right now. I love the thought of it, but Dylan long term, I think that's the fit that makes more sense.
I agree. And Khan's a rookie right now. What happens next year when they figure him out? Is he still going to be this efficient from three? Is he still going to be shooting that many threes? If he's on the Charlotte Hornets team and they get a superstar, like let's say they get Giannis, let's play with some fun things here. Let's say they get Giannis, and then those shots that he's getting now start to go to Giannis because he has to go downhill. Like all those things, like I guess in a nice little vacuum, it's great. Like everyone has hindsight 2020, but moving forward, Dylan Harper was the second pick in the draft. Like Dylan Harper was the second best player. He would have been number one if it wasn't for a Cooper Flag type talent. So I get what we're saying now is like, yeah, we need 3-point shooting, but Con Knipple wouldn't have been able to help us in this game. Like we're talking about this loss, he wouldn't have been able to help us in this game. Maybe he could have helped us in other games, but maybe he can help us in the future. But I also view shooting similar to like a skill position in football. You can go get shooters. Con Knipple is a great shooter. We can find someone maybe not to the same percentage as him, but we can find good shooters. Julian Champagnie is a good shooter. Devin Vassell is a good shooter. Like we got him. Con Knipple would be great. Maybe we go get a Con Knipple with our Atlanta Hawks lottery pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think that just hits the nail on the head that that's our next need is we go after somebody that is that sniper because if we can't space the floor around Wemby every single night with efficiency, like we have for a lot of February, then we have nights that look like this. And
Yeah.
I think that it's just it's a small error because a lot of times we have a guy that'll step up, whether it's like you said, DV or Champagnie, or even earlier in the season, Harrison Barnes. A lot of times he was bailing us out with
Yeah.
20-25 point performances.
Right.
So there is a lot of that, but I also think, man, we're really nitpicking here if
Yeah.
these are the problems we have because we still
Yeah.
have a solid tight 10-man rotation. More often than not, we're getting
For
the
sure.
job done.
Yeah, and with that Dylan Harper thing too. Think about if we're going to use this as an example, like today's game as an example, right? We're going to use today's game as an example, and we're going to talk about should we have gone with Con Knipple? If Julian Champagnie would have hit one or two more shots, then Dylan Harper is able to kind of be a little bit more relaxed on offense, and he can kind of get to the hoop a little more because that opens up a little more space. So Dylan Harper's game changes with that. He's also going against arguably a top 3 guard in the entire NBA in Jalen Brunson as a rookie. Like Con Knipple can't hold Jalen Brunson any better than Dylan Harper.
No, well, I mean, defensively, that's not the issue. Is we all know that Dylan's far better defender. It's just the season that Khan is having. it wouldn't be a direct swap. Like you would pick Khan. We would have we would have traded down to get Khan. Is the thing is we would have also probably gotten a really talented player on top of it. So it's hard to not think about scenarios like that. But I'm not going to think about it too much because we're second in the West right now. So hypotheticals don't necessarily concern me when the reality is as sweet and tasty as it is right now. And
Yeah, we're still 11 out of our last 12.
absolutely,
And we
it's
got a chance to come back against a good, really good Philadelphia 76ers team. And you know what? Maxi versus Dylan Harper is going to be fun to watch. I hope he has a bounce back game. I hope we all have a bounce back game. And I hope Wimby still has nightmares of Joel Embiid scoring 70 points on him. So I hope I see this team respond in a very strong way against the Sixers.
yeah, and the Sixers, I mean, they're chilling on a W3 right now, so they have been playing some decent winning basketball, chilling in the middle of the Eastern Conference, not looking too horrible. So yes, this is a game that I think I want to get out there and win. And when I think about guards in the East that are playing well, Tyrese Maxey is just about as good as anybody. So I
Yep.
think this is a great example of
29 points a game. Damn.
oh yeah, he is absolutely torching people out there and a different kind of guard too. So he's not a guy that we're going to be able to just out physical and
Right.
just because we may not even be able to put a body on him because he's going to just blow right past us.
Yep.
So it's one of those guys that you just maybe run all game long and yeah, we may need everybody full effort all day long. But yeah, a little VJ Edgecombe versus Dylan Harper battle, little rookie seeing rookie. So
That'd be
I
fun.
think that yeah, that'll be a little fun matchup within the matchup as well. But we got some other exciting matchups on the horizon too, because we're gonna let me just open up the schedule and we're gonna be playing the Pistons right after that. And that's probably the game I'm most excited about out of our next few because the last matchup was such a banger.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's going to be at home, coming back home after a rodeo road trip. And, after we get these boys some breakfast tacos, I think we'll be back in shape, especially being at home. So I'm happy. I'm happy where we're at. It sucks that we lost today, but looking forward, there's nothing to ring the alarm about. Like we've talked about what's going to beat this team. It's going to be poor shooting. That's what beat us today. So keep your happy face on. Nothing too crazy. Just the Knicks are a good team. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not get our panties all in a bunch about one loss because like you said, I mean, it sucks that we didn't lose a game in all of February and here we are March 1st catching an L the first day of the month. But so it's it sucks in that regard, but at the same time, we got to keep this in perspective. It's not like we were going to go the rest of the season
Right.
undefeated and just
Right.
cruising into the playoffs on a 35 game win streak. That's not how shit works around here.
No, no, no. But also, I hated the Knicks court too. I thought it was weird, like the way that they have it set up, like the outline on the Knicks kind of looked like a 3-pointer, and it wasn't a 3-pointer. It was weird. I wasn't a big fan of the court.
Oh yeah. And anytime you're looking around the court and you're seeing like Ben Stiller and Tracy Morgan and Larry David, and it's just like everyone's rooting against you. It's just kind of like, fuck this. This
Michael
is
Strahan with his gap teeth.
right. It's like I'm about
They kept
to,
showing Michael Strahan for some reason. I'm like, why do we keep showing him?
yeah. I'm like, we're really struggling for celebrities over here. If we're no, I'm
Like,
just
go back
kidding.
to Tracy Morgan. At least I can giggle because I can just think. For me, whenever I see Tracy Morgan, I think of Brian Fellows, and he's just like,
Safari
that cat is
Planet,
ugly.
right? Brian Fellows, Safari Planet. Oh
Brian
my god,
Fellows. Anyway, all right,
that's
man. Well,
great.
do you have anything else you want to talk about this or get to?
Um, overall, just yeah, disappointing. Let me just check my notes. Nah, nothing really that was glaring that I wanted to get to. Anything that you wanted to finish up with?
No, no, I'm good.
You got a blind rank for me?
I do have a blind rank for you, buddy. I do, and I'm actually pretty
Ooh,
excited about this one.
Wait,
just
wait,
because.
hold on. We gotta clear this up. We got a problem with gap teeth. We do not have a problem
No,
with
no, I
gap
dated a
teeth.
girl with a gap teeth, but it got suctiony. It was weird, but it's kind of hot.
Oh my gosh. But it is time for a blind rank.
All right, Rob. I went back and I listened to our podcast when we played the Knicks, and I didn't give you a blind rank on that one. I gave you a start, bench, cut. So I
Ooh.
was like, all right, cool. That was a fun one, but we're gonna do a blind rank because I do get very nostalgic whenever I see a matinee game in Madison Square Garden, like just kind of middle of the day. It just feels right. It feels like the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I want you to blind rank these top 5 Knicks players according to me.
Okay. Okay. So according to the mind of AJ,
No, no,
these
no.
are
You're blind rank, but in my mind, they're my top Nick players.
okay. Okay.
So they're not your regular Nick players that stats wise they're top 5. No, no. These are my favorites.
Okay.
So you
I
might
got
get
it.
a role player here and there.
No, absolutely. I'm expecting them. Mostly role players.
All right, but we're gonna start with not a role player. And if you told him he was a role player, he might punch you in the jaw. So we're gonna start with Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh, Knicks legend. I'm gonna have to go this mellow Knicks mellow at 2. I think he was such a fun version of mellow.
He was so good. I try to emulate my shots and the way that I played after Melo to an extent, like the way that he was able to kind of like pull up fast and just get that shot off. I mean, granted, I'm like a good foot and a half shorter than him, but sometimes it worked.
It's like I just want to be an offensive black hole like Melo. I just want to never pass the
Yeah,
ball out like Melo. It's like
I definitely I definitely passed the ball out. I was like, "You're too tall. We're Rob."
that's hilarious. All right, my dude.
So Melo, Patrick Ewing.
Okay, Patrick Ewing. Man, I mean, obviously Patrick Ewing is a Knicks legend. He's the Knicks goat, but if we're talking about just favorite Knicks, I mean, he's definitely not my favorite Nick. I had, but man,
Patrick Ewing in
it's in
Space
Space
Jam.
Jam though. I was about to say he's in Space Jam though, so I'll put him at 1. Space Jam. Nah. You know what? I'm gonna leave that one spot for somebody else. Patrick Ewing at 3.
3. Perfect. Walt Frazier.
I love me some Walt Frazier, but I feel like he complains about so much stuff, or he did, at least. I don't know, but I'll put him at 4.
4. All right. So we have Melo at 2, Patrick Ewing at 3, Walt Frazier at 4. We're gonna go Malik Rose.
Malik Rose at 1. See, I'm glad you did this to me. I'm glad you gave me Malik Rose because now, I mean, yeah, it's a nice little Spurs crossover right there.
Rob, you're not gonna like your number 5.
What is it about to be?
So you have Malik Rose at 1, Melo at 2, Patrick Ewing at 3, Walt Frazier at 4, and your 5, Lynn Sanity.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
You okay with that? Okay. Because out of the two of us, one of us had a Jeremy Lin shirt and it wasn't me.
It was me. It was me. I had a Lynn Sanity shirt. It was cool. It was a dope
That was so much
shirt.
fun. That was so much fun. That
Honestly,
time was so much fun as just an NBA fan to see just Harvard kid come in and just go toe to toe with Kobe Bryant. You're like, who is this kid? It was so
oh
much fun to
yeah.
watch.
Oh yeah, because I'm such a fan of like, it really wasn't about like anything Knicks related. It was just about like what that meant. Like somebody could come in that was like a no-name kind of guy and just take over, like dominate the NBA headlines for a month, it seemed
Yeah.
like straight.
And it
Where
was like, oh, he's gonna go back to reality. And then 20, 25 game winners.
right. And it was like drives to the basket, like crazy, like floaters, step back 3-pointers, and like
Dropping
in
dimes.
Right, and you brought it up, like, on guys like Kobe, like, with elite defenders on him, and so, like, Linsanity was such a fun moment in history to get swept up into, and so
Calling
yeah,
calling ISOs with Carmelo Anthony on the floor.
just
Like,
like
no.
yeah, just literally just waving him off like, "Nah, I got it, dude." You're like, "What
We might
the
have to do a deep dive one day about Jeremy Lin because we were together during that time. Like we were in college and having just a ball watching this time, and we would like hang out with each other to watch Knicks games in Lubbock because there's nothing else to do that night. And then you're just sitting there going, Jesus Christ, Jeremy Lin has 28 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was Linsanity was at an absolute legend of a time, but
NBA
also
champion Lin Sanity.
right. But also 5th on this blind rank, so you're coming in last. No, I'm just kidding.
Shout out to Bernard King, Erman Rowe, Allen Houston, Charles Oakley,
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of Knicks legends. Lot of Knicks legends.
Steve
But
Novak.
yeah, Steve Novak. Um, but that was a nice blind rank. I think little segue into some dunkage, my friend.
Ooh, some Dunky Dunks.
Do you got a dunk for me? You got something that makes you want to yam?
I do have a dunk. I do. I have a good dunk, actually. I'm going to
Ooh.
dunk on Joe Lombardi. Is that his name? Joe Lombardi? The
Yeah.
ESPN bracketology guy? Right
Wait,
now, he
is it?
has
Yeah.
Texas Tech as the number 4 seed, as a number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Buddy, we beat the number 4 team yesterday in Iowa State. We beat Arizona, who is ranked number 1. We have these wins that are just absolutely monstrous, and we're still a number 4 seed. Like, we've beaten 4 teams that are above us. Like, how can you have us that low? And it drives me insane. And then also just give me a side dunk to Jalen Rose, because dude, Jalen Rose, anytime he's on my TV, I'm like, this dude sucks. Like, he just sucks. He was a very average, no, he's not even an average, he was subpar NBA player, and now he's a subpar analyst, and I absolutely hate anything that he talks about. So those years when he wasn't on my TV, I was so excited, but now he's back on my TV and I don't like him.
He was at least average. I give him average. He's a
I
mediocre
mean,
player.
if you're defending Kobe and you want to give up 81, yes, he's very average.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not saying anything about that night. I'm just saying about his career. Those there was a lot of moments where I think Jalen Rose was pretty solid, but at the same time, yeah, I think that anytime you get in a Twitter battle with Cam, you deserve to get dunked on.
like probably the only reason I really hate him too.
Right. What a yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you don't talk shit to my friend.
Right, seriously, I'll fight you, Jalen Rose. Oh my goodness. But I have a little dunk that
Yeah, what's your dunk?
I want to get to. I want to dunk on the animated show Smiling Friends.
Okay.
Um and the creators behind it walking away after 25 episodes and 3 seasons when it like just started to feel like it was gaining popularity. Like you saw like the memes and like the little like viral clips of it, and college kids wearing the merch and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like it felt like it's like it was about to be like a Rick and Morty but like better style show. And I also thought it was like a rare combination of like it was unique, it was funny, there was different, and like sometimes there would be an episode where there's 5 different animation styles. You'd have something 2D, 3D, hand-drawn animation, computer
Nice.
graphics, and it would be all blended, and it would be like, "Oh, there's really no other show that's quite doing this." And then all of a sudden and now it feels like it's like, Dave Chappelle walking away from the
Right.
Chappelle show, and it's like, why are you guys doing that? You guys had a South Park, Family Guy like set up perfectly, and you'd have been printing money for the next 2 decades, and you just walk away from it. And, you know, part of me wants to respect it because they walked away before it became bad. But at the same time, I felt like you walked away before you even had a prime. So
Yeah.
It's hard to fully respect it. So I have to dunk on it because I think that they could have done so much more, even though I like the show, and especially in a world that's filled with a bunch of AI
Oof.
cartoon slop. It felt so unique and organic, and so
Do you think it's
yeah.
just too tedious for them to do and cut back from, 2D to 3D to this style? Do you think it just you're like, hey, we're working on one episode for 6 weeks kind of thing?
I don't know. It seemed like it seemed more so like they just wanted to do something different creatively and didn't
Sure.
want to like fall into the, oh, this is the project we're doing. But it's like, well, if that's what you do the next few years, then, and it's a huge success and you end up getting on a couple of different outlets that are bigger than, late night cart or late night
Yeah.
adult swim, then,
It's a
you
good place to be.
right, you can make money hand over fist, and yeah, so I think, yeah, I gotta dunk on them for walking away from a gold mine.
Yeah, dude. What's crazy is I saw somewhere that Daniel Radcliffe, aka Harry Potter, he makes like 20 million a year on just all the like royalties from Harry Potter. Like that's it. That's why he does these crazy shows or these crazy movies, these very out of the box type roles because he can. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to play a film director and my co-star is going to be Tracy Morgan. Watch this. And I watched the first 2 episodes of that show. It's hilarious. It's awesome. I thoroughly enjoy it. But, just crazy like when you have a chance to go to be syndicated and you don't really take that opportunity. I mean, that's some big bucks that you're missing out on.
Oh, yeah, and that's a great point that you brought up right there. When you're getting $20 million in passive income, yeah, you're not gonna get talked into doing something that you don't wanna do. The rest of your life is in your hands, and it's like,
Yeah.
and that's what I think those creators just kinda shit the bed on. So yeah, Smiling Friends, you could have been something really, really huge, but instead it's gonna be like a niche 25 episodes of something weird that is fun to talk about.
I mean, dude,
Um,
how much money does Seth Green make on just Family Guy?
dude, ridiculous. I often
Like,
think about that woman that voiced that was the voice of
oh yeah.
Meg for the first 2 seasons, and she was like, "You know what? I don't think this is gonna go anywhere." And all of a sudden, it's like, dude, Mila Kunis was on a Comic-Con last week
Yeah.
talking about like, yeah, it's
This
like,
is
dude,
this is my voice. This is my Meg voice.
right. You could have made it, but instead you shat the bed.
Say what's up to Sloan.
Right. Yes, for real. But yeah, solid dunks, my dude. Everybody, if you are still here following the Spurs Knicks breakdown, I know it wasn't the most exciting game. We got beat up on pretty bad. If you're still here, following the fun blind rank, following those dunks, following all of the shenanigans today, then we appreciate you. We not only love you, but we love you hard over here. All this is brought to you by Love You Hard TV and the wonderful people over at the In the Building podcast. Shout out to Mike, Rudy, Jose. Make sure you're following them and listening to In the Building. But over here at the Baseline Bums, we got a lot of exciting stuff in the future.
Brackets?
Absolutely. We got a lot of March Madness stuff on the horizon. It's March 1st today, so March Madness is right around the corner.
17 days away from the first tip off.
Absolutely stoked about that. So we will be going head to head versus In the Building bracketology. Let's make it happen. Y'all make sure to
Can
follow
we
along
go
with that.
2-0 against In the Building? Can we go
I
back to back? And I think we can. Because
I
they're
mean,
probably going to pick some stupid school like UT to win the championship because they don't follow college hoops at all. So I'm excited.
absolutely. I don't really view that as real competition. I think they're about to be barbecue chicken against the bums in our bracket. Uh
Yeah.
but that being said, we really appreciate you, whether you're following along live on the YouTube, whether you're following the Instagram, those clips over on TikTok, the Apple podcast. We're starting to get the Discord back up and running. I apologize. I haven't been on there active lately, but we are going to get the Discord up and running. Wherever you're following, wherever you're listening along, we really, really appreciate you because you make this community what it is. Wherever you're listening, we appreciate you. You are a bum as well. Thank you for making this podcast a wonderful experience. But that being said, we're going to hop off here and end this episode the same way we end all episodes. And that's with a go
Go.
Spurs go.